Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is part 2 of our Flint knapping tools. In the first part we made this pressure flaker, which is basically just a 3/4 dowel with a piece of copper wire at the end that was domed over. In this part we're going to make a copper bopper. I believe that's what they call it. Again, I'm not an expert at this Flint knapping stuff. I'm just making these tools and hopefully going to start playing around when my friend from Texas can get me a piece of some Texas chert. So I believe if it's made out of solid copper, they call it a copper billet. But basically this is used to break off big flakes off of a piece of chert or flint. I believe it's called spalling. Alright, I could be wrong. I know they do use a hammerstone, which is basically like a river rock that's very smooth and round, and then they use that to hit the chert or the flint to get the outside of it off. I don't even know what they call that again, I forgot. But like this inside part here is the flint or chert, and then you have this outside layer, and they use that to get to the inside and to get a usable piece of flint. So what you're going to need is, this is a 3/4 inch end cap, copper end cap, and this is just a piece of a painter stick. It happens to be the right size. You want it to be a little bit bigger than the inside. As you can see, this won't go in, but it's exactly the outside dimension, so we got to do a little bit of sanding of this to get this to fit. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to fill this up with lead, probably about 2/3 of the way, and then this gets epoxied in. Okay, so I have an idea of, before the lead sets, to put this screw in here, because I heard that some guys say that the epoxy fails after a while and it comes flying off. So I'm thinking if we put this brass screw in here, when we put the lead in, that we could actually screw this in and epoxy at the same time, and it should be solid. So the first step is we have to get this dome shape. That's going to take a little bit of work with a hammer. So I'll set you up in the garage over to my vise and we'll make a dome shape out of this. Okay, what I have here is a ball peen hammer like this one in the vise, and we're going to take our cap and we're going to put it on the end, and we're going to start to dome this. Now I'm going to start to refine this edge a little bit. Alright, I'll spare you the agony of watching me hammer this, and I'll make this a little smoother, and then we'll be back at the next part. Okay, so we have our dome shape now on our piece of fitting. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get this whittled down a little bit to get inside there. Okay, so a couple things we could do. We can get our file, start filing this down. Alright, we're almost there. I'm going to take this down a little bit more, get this to fit in. No need for you to watch me file in a piece of wood, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I have this all filed down. I took a little sandpaper there and made it nice and round. It fits nice and tight on here. I drilled a little starter hole in here like I did on the other one, on the pressure flaker, for this screw to fit in. Now The reason I'm using a brass screw is because if it doesn't work, maybe we'll be able to just snap the screw out, or we could just remelt the lead and take it out. But I'm hoping that this works. I never really saw anybody do it. I've watched a few videos of them making this, and they basically fill this up with lead and epoxy it in. But we're gonna try, like I said, this to get this screw in here. So we need a way to hold this. So I have a pair of vice grips here. Now, we're not going to grip it with a death grip. We're basically just going to close this. Have it closed. We're going to turn this end until this opens up far enough. And then just gently tighten it. That'll hold it. Okay. Now, I have a regular propane head on here. Propane torch. I have these slingshot balls. They're just made out of lead wheel weights. Okay, so we're going to place a few of those in there. And again, we only want to fill the lead up to about, we want to leave that much space so we can get this stick back in. So we may have to add a couple. That's what I got there. I got 3 of them in there. I think we'll let that melt, and then we got to figure out a way to hold this in the center of this. So I think a piece of wire would do the trick. Let me get a piece of wire and we'll start to melt this. Alright, so I have a piece of wire. Just figure out about how far down that's going to go. And we'll wrap this wire around here. This way I can put this in while it's molten and get it centered. Alright. Now let's get this heated up. Just twist this up a little bit, keep it stable. I think we should be fine with that. We'll move this out of the way. Hope this works. Alright, let's see if we can get this in there. I can't see too well in the position I'm in. Hopefully that's centered. Need to hold that there until it starts to set up. Come on, lead, cool off. Okay, finally can let it go. Alright, we're going to let that cool down. Once that's cooled down, we're going to try to assemble this and see how it works out. Alright, so that cooled off. I got that pretty centered. I'm happy with that. So let's see now if I can screw this in. Oh, that's working out great. That's tight. Okay, it looks like it bottomed out. So what I'm going to have to do is Let's see. That means I had a tad too much lead in there. Let's see. Alright, that's easily fixed. Let me grab my file. Okay, I'll be right back. So I just took the filed that, got that to fit in there, did a little cleanup on this with some steel wool. Now we're going to get a little epoxy and we'll epoxy this in. Make sure we get some on the wood. Put this together. That's as tight as it's going. There you have it. A bopper. So basically, you take this and you're bopping the piece of chert or the piece of flint. Once I can get a nice piece to work with, we will bring this back out. I may just sand this hand a little bit, get some of this old paint off and clean it up a little bit. But basically that's it. That's a copper bopper. So there you go. That's how I do stuff. If you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hopefully we'll have a nice piece of Texas chert, or Texas flint as they like to call it, from my friend Julie, and we'll do some flint napping. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.